Happy Monday to all of you. Sure do miss you guys. But today's math lesson is going to consist of 2 sets of exercises, each of which have 4 questions. This is a review again, and we're going to review volume. Now, I went ahead and kept this board up here. I hope it's positioned where you can see it. And you're going to want to probably write these formulas down unless you have them memorized from before when we use them. But remember, the cylinder shape is the first shape, I believe, that we did when we were calculating volume. And the volume is calculated by taking pi times your radius squared times your height. And I did make sure and put here, remember the radius is only halfway across your cylinder. I did check on the Khan Academy problems. Every one of them gives you a radius. So you don't have to take the diameter and divide it by 2. It's already given to you as the radius. I also am going to recommend that instead of how sometimes we would use an exact answer for pi and we would only do this part here, I would go ahead and, as Khan Academy suggests, use 3.14 on your calculator. Do not hit the pi button, because remember, that's going to possibly round it up higher than the number they're actually wanting you to calculate. So use 3.14, take that times your radius squared, and then take that times your height. If you don't remember where your squared button is on your calculator, you can do 3.14 times r times the height. And I'll give you an example just to make sure you remember how to plug that in. When we were in class, we would sometimes have the volume and have to undo all this. This is just practicing using this formula. You will have 4 problems, and you don't even have to worry about the label because it's already got it labeled there, units squared. Sorry, it's volume, units cubed. And it does say, I believe, to round to the, I can't remember if it says tenths or hundredths. So read, but if it says to round to the tenths spot, you're going to go to 1 decimal spot. If it says to go to the hundredths spot, go to 2 spots. Hey, Riley, will you do me a favor? See if it's still pulled up on my calculator and you can read the instructions. Second exercise is a cone. Again, I've identified the radius that's halfway across. It says hundredths. Okay. I was thinking it was 2 spots, but then I wasn't thinking I'd read that. So, okay. Thank you, Riley, for helping us out there. And you are going to round it to 2 decimal spots. So, for a cone, I like writing it in this format because you can see it's still pi r squared height. This basic shape would be a cylinder, except we've cut off this left and this right part, which leaves us only 1/3. So we have to divide by 3. Some of you liked, instead of dividing by 3, some of you would take it and multiply by 1/3. That's fine too. I'm just trying to keep it straightforward here. I do have that second formula. That is what you would have seen on, your iLearn test if you had to take that this year. But I will use this first format. So our first example, I've just got 2 of them, just to make sure you remember how to type these in and write these. The volume of this cylinder, I'm going to go ahead and write the 3.14. That's what I recommend you doing. 3.14 times r squared times height. And all I have to do at this point is substitute in for my radius. I'm going to put 4 squared. If you want, you can go ahead and do that. 4 times 4 is 16. So you can put 16 instead of 4 squared, and then multiply that by 8. So grab my calculator. If you guys have your Desmos calculator, if you don't have your actual calculator, that's fine. Type in 3.14 times, because I already know 4 squared is 16, I'm going to take it times 16, and then I'm going to take it times 8, and end up with, since we're rounding to the hundredths, 401.92. And that's exactly how I would type that into the Khan Academy exercise. Second exercise that you will have 4 questions using cones. Your volume formula is going to, again, be 3.14 times r squared times height. This time we just have to remember to put in that divided by 3. So as I write my numbers, 3.14 times my radius is 7. So I've got 7 squared. Height is also 7. And I'm going to divide that by 3. So as I type this one into my calculator, again, I'm going to put 3.14. Do not use the pi button. Again, I know that 7 squared is 49, so I'm going to do times 49. I'm going to take and multiply that by my height, which is 7, and then I'm going to go ahead and divide it by 3. When I do that, I get 359.00666666, and eventually it rounds it up to a 7. But remember, we found out we go to 2 decimal spots, so it's going to be 359 point, and this one's interesting because it says 00 and then 6 repeats. Well, if you're going to 2 decimal spots, you cannot type in 359.00 and expect that to be correct. What you need to type in is 359.01, because this 6, remember, 5 and above, bumps this 0 to a 1. So that would be the final answer. Hope you guys have a wonderful Monday. Hope everybody's doing well. Please remember to email me if you need anything or have any questions. I want to remind you, I keep typing this on the instructions page. I want to verbally remind you. Some of you are not logging in. Some of you have forgotten your login because you didn't use your school email and your school login. So if that is the case, and even if it's not the case and you just want to be safe, screenshot those completed screens so that I know you got 4 out of 4, or maybe you got 3 out of 4. But that is what's going in PowerSchool. So if I don't get those numbers, I don't have any proof that you actually did it or you completed it and scored whatever you scored. So please make sure you screenshot it and email it to me. And today's, you would have to do that twice because there are 2 exercises. So make sure that you are careful as you're doing these. And if you're not sure, email me or come see me Thursday, 2 o'clock when we have the Zoom hours. And I will happily try to help you through that. Happy Monday.